Well, hello there everybody, this is Calcos once again for another tutorial for Tekken 7, based entirely around Smash players. The next thing that I'm going to talk about today is how to effectively use training mode. This is really important because training mode in this game is a lot more comprehensive and detailed than the training mode in Smash Brothers, particularly Smash Brothers, actually all of them. Like this training mode has a lot of features, and it's important to know how to use them and how to effectively explore your character using these tools. I'll give you a good example. Let's take Miguel here. So now, if you are just booting up Tekken, okay, and all of the options are back on default, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna bring that up to stand, okay. So let's say you look at his 1, 2, 4 string, which is this, okay? The game is going to tell you that actually, I think this one might be better. Oh. Yeah, okay, so that is better. So his down forward 4-1-1 string, which is that, okay? The game tells you it's a 3-hit combo for 38 damage. So in your head, you're going, okay, so that whole string will hit an opponent. That's false. It actually doesn't. And I know this because now he's blocking because I set the second action to guard all. That's so important when you are exploring your character, because if you do not set the first action to stand and the second action to guard all, when you go online or when you play against other people, you're going to think the game's lying to you because they will be blocking strings that you think they shouldn't be able to block. So, let me explain why this happens. The first action is the action they do before you do a move. The second action is the action that they do after you do a move. So, the opponent is going to stand there and do nothing and take all hits forever. But once you hit him, he'll guard everything. And this is a good way to see if strings hit or if eventually they'll be blocked. See, that's a full string. That's 1 + 2, 1 + 2. That is a legit combo. But this is also a delayable string. See, this is at max speed, right? But this one, I could delay it and get the second hit to come out later. And that's because this string on the second hit is actually a counter hit combo move. So I can use that to fake people out. But if this is just hit normally, see that? It doesn't connect properly, the second one. They can block it. But let's try counter hit. On counter hit, it still doesn't work if I delay it. That is how you use training mode. That is how you explore your strings. So now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, it's a pain in the ass to have to press start and go to a move list, you know? Okay, so that's 1, 2, 4 forward to go into Savage Stance, right? And then when I'm done with that, I have to go to the move list to check out the next one, which is this one right here, you know? And then I've got to do it again. That's a pain in the ass. You're right, it is a pain in the ass. There's actually a website that I use called rbnorway.org. I'll put a link to the description. And it has frame data and the entire move list from beginning to end, including some secret moves that are not in the move list, all detailed right there in order. It's really, really nice, and I use it so that way I don't have to press start and go to the move list every single time. So, that's how you use the CPU opponent action 1 and action 2. That is how you effectively explore your strings. Make sure you have this on, okay? The next one is record, which you've already seen me do. In the game, it's called repeat action. But you can make the dummy do different things, and you can have him randomly alternate anywhere from 2 to 5 different moves or strings. So that one is for when you want to record the dummy doing something. So like if there's a string or something that you want to see if you can beat with all of your options, then you can do that and you'll be able to explore it. And of course, you also have all of these other amazing things that you can do. Okay, you have all this stuff, just in case there's something you want to see. The next one is restart settings. So restart settings is kind of cool. If you want to restart by the wall, for example, you know, you can start by the wall. And when you restart, you'll be at the wall. This is cool because it allows you to explore moves that wall splat, like that one, or that one, or that one, you know, and you can see all of the moves that do a wall splat. I think that one will on counter hit. Yes, okay. And then once you do that, you can explore your wall combo. For example, Miguel has 2 wall combos. He's got this one. Excuse me. He's got that one. I don't like it because I think it's unreliable. Sometimes the camera will do all funky things and it'll whiff. So one that's a bit more consistent is one like this. Excuse me. I don't think I have the forward dash there. Okay. So I'll do the easier one. Sorry, I was trying to do the hard one. Do a little fancy. But this is Miguel's optimal wall combo. That. So, when training mode, you can practice your wall combos just by setting the restart position to the wall. The other ones, of course, are player direction and opponent direction. You can change the direction that they face just by doing that. So, I'm going to set that back to front. And if you set it back to front, they'll be facing each other. You also have your statuses. You can set them down, face up, face down. Same thing. And also, when you practice your combos and stuff, it's super important to be able to do it on both sides. So if you want to switch positions so you can get your combos done on both sides, you can do that. See? No problem. Oops. There. So that's how you use that section. Then there's display settings, which is very easy. You can do command history, your health gauge, everything. Everything here is in display. Now, the last important section is other settings. So you can set your opponent and the player to do counter hits. And counter hits are important because they affect how certain strings behave. Because you will not be able to normally get certain things off with counter hit. And we discussed counter hitting before. But counter hitting also applies to specific strings. So let me think of one that normally wouldn't hit on counter hit. Okay, let me think. This one. So down forward 2-2. I'll show you. Without counter hit, see, they're able to block it. It's not a true string. It's not, or not a true combo, excuse me. But if I set it to counter hit, it does hit. So when you explore your strings, make sure that you go back and you check your strings with counter hit on, because it does affect how these things behave. Like, I think that one will also hit on counter hit. It does. And I think you can also get a free I think you can get that for free. Give me a second. You can for free. No problem. That's guaranteed. So you absolutely always want to make sure that you do that. Now, don't forget, again, that a key charge, by pressing all 4 buttons at the same time, that also gives you a counter hit. So, that's not a problem. You can also set your rage to be on, which is really cool if you want to check out what your rage drive offers and such. Also, Miguel's rage drive sucks. It's the worst. It's so bad. I hope they improve it in Season 2. But make sure that you're not gauging damage with rage on, because if you'll notice, you get a damage bonus. And there goes my chair. You actually get a damage bonus when you have rage on. So make sure that when you're testing damage, rage is off. But otherwise, like, this is how you practice your rage drives. So, no problem. Let's see. Anything else? Throw escapes. Usually don't bother with that. Input delay. That's obvious. So, that's how you properly use training mode, in a nutshell. I would definitely explore your options and see what you can do from there. Now, real quick, the next thing I want to teach you is proper inputs and while standing, because I've got a little bit more time left in the video. So there is something called while standing, which is moves like this, or moves like this, or something like this. And it's called while standing because it's a move that you can only access while your opponent is standing. See, you see how Miguel goes from crouch to standing like that? You see that? He even does it during certain moves, like down 3, for example. Down 3 leaves him in a crouch state. So if I hold down, he'll stay down there. But if I do nothing, he'll stand back up. That's called while standing. And it's actually a stance that every character has. And you can access certain moves only through it. So how to do it is you're holding down or down back or down forward or whatever. And then you release down and go up to neutral. Because the game counts going to neutral as an input. Okay, it's important to understand this. Going to neutral is technically an input. So when you go into while standing like this, during this transition, if you press a button, you'll access your while standing moves. That's how you do while standing. The next thing I want to explain is something that I can show you in the move list. So the black arrow. Why are some arrows black and some arrows white? So white means that you just have to press it, okay? That's his telefonazo, okay? You just have to press right and then you can let go. You know, you can just tap it. And it'll count. But when it's black, it means that you have to hold it while you're pressing the button. For example, something that goes into Savage Stance, like that, for example, his down forward 1, if you just press the button, it won't go into Savage Stance. See, I'm only pressing it. See that? It's not going to go into Savage Stance. But if I'm holding it after I do the move, it goes into Savage Stance. You see how he's kind of leaning forward a little bit? That's his Savage Stance. And I can only get into it if I'm holding forward after the move comes out. And it's the same thing with moves that are something like forward, like this. See that? Forward. So he's got stuff like this, and then he's got that, you know? Stuff like that. So I can only access that from forward. But if I tap forward, see, I'm not getting it if I just tap it, right? That's because the black arrow means you have to hold it. If you're holding forward, you see that on the input display? If you're holding forward, the move will come out. So when you double tap, make sure you hold it on the second input. If you don't hold it, it won't come out. I love that move. This move is one of my favorites. Same thing with while running. I think while running, if you do it from a certain distance, though, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, actually, yeah. Let me back up a little bit. Okay. So, if you double tap forward, you'll just start running. That's automatic. And if you are running, like, I'll do his while running 3. If you run, and you oh. How'd I screw that up? It's simple. There goes a car. Vroom, vroom. So if you're running, and you press the button, you know you don't have to have your hand on this stick. Now, things are a little different if you want to do instant while running. You do have to tap it 3 times. But that's not something I'm going to go into because that's really only important for certain characters. Elisa, Claudio, Dragunov are 3 good examples. So if you plan on playing one of those 3 characters, I definitely recommend learning it. But I'm not that great at it, so I'll leave that to the pros. But that's proper inputs. Just make sure that if the arrow is black, you're holding it. You don't press it, you hold it. You know what? I have more time, so I'm going to teach you the last thing. Actually, no, I'm not. The next, because it's already 15 minutes, I can, the next one is like an entire video's worth. And I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But the next video that I'm going to discuss is going to be my final basics video. Everything else is stuff that you should be searching for on your own, because most of it is character specific. And I want to make this generic for most characters. So then the last thing I'm going to teach you guys about is low parrying. How to low parry and when to low parry. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys next time.